You may not believe it, but the riskiest moment of your day can come right after waking up. In that hour, before morning hygiene, before turning on the TV, even before your first sip of water, your body can turn into an invisible minefield. Your heartbeat accelerates, blood pressure rises sharply, the blood becomes thicker, and the risk of stroke triples, especially for people over 65. A study by the American Heart Association found that the peak incidence of strokes in older adults falls between 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock in the morning. What is even more alarming is that in many cases the cause is not serious disease or genetic predisposition, but a buildup of small morning mistakes and harmful habits that repeat every day. Are you familiar with dizziness when getting out of bed? Have you noticed a racing heartbeat in the morning? Have you had headaches, neck tightness, a foggy gaze, or a feeling of heaviness throughout your body in the first hours after waking? These may be the warning bells your body is sending you, even if you are not yet able to interpret them correctly. In this video, we will look at the 10 most dangerous morning habits that can lead to serious health problems in older adults, including the risk of stroke, hypertension, and circulatory collapse. These habits may seem minor, but in reality, they can negatively affect your brain health, independence, and even your life. It is important to understand that all of this can be changed by adopting proper, effective, and natural habits available to everyone, regardless of age. Paying attention now is especially crucial because with age, the body becomes more sensitive to neglect, and ignoring these signals can have serious consequences. One dangerous habit is getting out of bed abruptly without first activating circulation. After waking, especially for people over 65, one of the main dangers is rising too quickly without preparing the body for this transition. During sleep, the body enters deep rest. Circulation slows, blood pressure drops, and blood flow is redistributed. The heart beats more slowly, blood vessels relax, and the brain receives less blood, all natural processes of sleep. The problem arises because, upon waking, the nervous system is still in a phase of reconfiguration. If a person stands up quickly without giving the body time to gradually activate blood flow, this can trigger sharp swings in cerebral pressure, both drops and spikes in arterial pressure. This imbalance, called orthostatic hypotension, can manifest as dizziness, blurred vision, loss of balance, and in severe cases, even fainting and stroke. In older people, this risk rises substantially. A study presented in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that just 2 minutes of gradual transition from lying to standing can significantly reduce the likelihood of morning vascular collapses by 64%. The simple but effective steps are these. After waking, gently turn onto your side, then sit on the edge of the bed, take several deep breaths, move your limbs, roll your shoulders, and only then stand up slowly. 90 seconds may seem insignificant, but they have the power to protect your brain and heart, and even save your life. No less dangerous is the habit of skipping a morning glass of water. It acts quietly, like a silent storm, harming the brain, heart, and kidneys every day. Many people, upon waking, rush straight to coffee, forgetting the simplest yet vital step, drinking water. Overnight, the body can lose up to a liter of fluid through breathing, sweat, and urine. When you wake up dehydrated, your blood becomes thicker, slower, and more dangerous. Cerebral circulation is impaired. The heart must work harder to pump blood. This can provoke a sharp rise in blood pressure or even a silent stroke. According to research published in the European Journal of Neurology, morning dehydration is directly linked to a higher risk of stroke in people over 65. The fix is simple: a 200 to 300 milliliters glass of warm water immediately after waking, before any other drink. Warm water activates the intestines, protects the kidneys, stimulates the liver, and helps thin the blood, easing the transport of oxygen to the brain. It is like an internal bath. You gently awaken the body and, most importantly, begin the day by protecting your vessels, arteries, and mental clarity. It may seem trivial, but it is not. Those who ignore this habit delay hydration of the whole system, and over time it proves costly. Drinking water right after waking is the simplest and most powerful gesture an older person can make to support the brain, lighten the heart's load, and keep the body safe. The third dangerous habit is drinking strong coffee on an empty stomach. It's almost automatic. An older person wakes up, goes to the kitchen, and brews the strongest coffee without eating first. The smell is comforting, the taste invigorates, but what seems like a simple habit can actually be a dangerous trigger for the brain and heart. Caffeine on an empty stomach causes an immediate release of adrenaline and cortisol, two hormones that put the body on high alert. This increases heart rate, raises blood pressure, and makes the blood thicker. Younger people usually tolerate this, but in those over 60 with stiffer vessels and a more sensitive cardiovascular system, this surge can be risky. Blood flows too quickly, the heart beats harder than it should, and the brain takes a hit that can cause confusion, dizziness, anxiety, tremors, or, in extreme cases, a stroke. Research published in the Journal of Hypertension showed that consuming caffeine on an empty stomach can raise systolic blood pressure by up to 20% in the early morning hours, especially in older adults with a history of hypertension or caffeine sensitivity. The good news is there's a solution. You don't have to give up coffee. Just protect your body. Before your first sip, eat something light: a ripe banana, a spoonful of oatmeal with fruit, or a handful of nuts. This light breakfast helps balance hormone release, reduces stress on the nervous system, and protects the heart. If possible, choose milder coffee or swap it for a gentle tea in the first hours of the day. Your body and brain will be grateful. Drinking strong coffee on an empty stomach may seem harmless, but with age it becomes a habit that quietly undermines health, and it can be fixed with a simple choice. The fourth dangerous habit is ignoring your body's first signals. Many people wake with heaviness, stiff joints, leg pains, slight shortness of breath, or a sense that something is off, but they ignore it. They take a quick shower, rush to get dressed, and carry on as if it were normal. It isn't. These small signals, especially prominent in the first hours of the morning, are the quietest way the body tells you something may be wrong with circulation, heart rhythm, or even the brain. With age, sensitivity to danger diminishes. A person feels tingling and blames the mattress, feels chest pain and blames anxiety, stands up dizzy and blames the heat. Such behavior makes stroke risk even more insidious, because it is often preceded by micro-signals that older adults fail to recognize. According to the World Stroke Organization, more than 25% of strokes could be prevented if preceding symptoms were heeded at early stages, especially in the morning. When the body is more vulnerable, these symptoms include unusual headaches, mild confusion, numbness of a limb, blurred vision, or sudden difficulty focusing. The recommendation is clear. If you wake with any unusual sensation that isn't normal for your body, even if it's mild, pause, wait, breathe, observe, and take note. If it repeats for 2 to 3 days in a row, don't wait for it to worsen before seeking help. If it is a new and intense sensation, don't wait a minute. Early recognition is like spotting a spark before a fire. Ignoring it can cost you independence, speech, mobility, or even life. Hearing what the body says, even when it is quiet, can save you. The fifth dangerous habit is not moving your body in the first hours of the day. Waking up and spending those early hours sitting still, waiting for energy to arrive on its own, is a dangerous mistake all too common in older age. Many get up, go straight to the table or sofa, have breakfast, and remain passive. It's as if the body is still asleep, yet it needs movement, especially after 60. When circulation slows, muscles lose elasticity, and vessels are more susceptible to blockages. Staying motionless early in the morning is like damming a river. Blood pools, pressure goes off kilter, and the risk of clots or hypertensive crises rises. The heart feels it, and so does the brain. A study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity showed that just 5 minutes of gentle morning movement, walking around the house, climbing a small set of stairs, or simple stretches, can reduce the risk of ischemic stroke in sedentary older adults by up to 32%. You don't need strenuous exercise or a gym. Just move, wake the muscles, and help the blood circulate. Men and women who circle the table, stretch arms and legs, breathe deeply, and stretch mindfully protect more than muscles. They irrigate the brain. They signal to the heart that it's time to work in rhythm. They prevent morning stagnation from turning into a vascular trigger later in the day. Not moving in the morning is like leaving a car's engine running with the handbrake on. Everything seems fine, but inside the parts are straining in silence. The sixth dangerous habit is starting the day in complete silence without mental stimulation. Many wake up and spend the first hour without any cognitive stimulus. No conversation, no reading, no meaningful listening, no simple thinking exercises. They remain in silence and passivity, repeating only automatic motions. Over time, this harms the brain, especially in older age. In the first minutes of the day, the brain is more receptive. Levels of dopamine, acetylcholine, and other neurotransmitters are being regulated. This is when a nervous system most needs stimulation to organize itself and sustain active connections. When this activation doesn't happen, neural networks gradually lose flexibility, plasticity, and even function. Research published in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience showed that older adults who do small mental exercises in the first hours of the day, listening to music, playing a quick word game, reading aloud, or talking with someone, have a 42% lower risk of cognitive decline in the following years. The recommendation is simple but powerful. As soon as you wake up, say out loud something you're grateful for. Read a short passage from a book. Listen to calming but emotionally engaging music, or simply talk to someone attentively. The brain needs to understand that the day has begun and that it has an active role. Starting the day in total silence is like leaving the brain on standby, as if it were merely a spectator. The mind, like the body, must be awakened gently, but with intent. One of the most dangerous yet overlooked habits among older people is not urinating after waking. At night, the kidneys do not stop working and the bladder gradually fills. Upon waking, it may already be full or nearly so. If a person does not go to the bathroom promptly, the body shifts into a state of tension. Morning urine retention can raise intra-abdominal pressure, which in turn stimulates the nervous system's alarm receptors and forces the heart to work harder to maintain stable circulation. This delay activates the sympathetic nervous system, the stress response system, which can cause a sharp rise in blood pressure. For older adults, this morning imbalance can precipitate both ischemic and hemorrhagic strokes. A new study presented in the Journal of Hypertension Research examined 820 adults over 65 and found a direct link between the tendency to delay morning urination and a 21% increase in the risk of cardiovascular complications in the morning hours, especially in people with hypertension or mild kidney insufficiency. The advice from researchers: don't postpone urination after waking. It is better to go to the bathroom right away than to wait until after coffee or other tasks. Empty the bladder, reduce internal pressure, and allow the nervous system to reset. This simple ritual, which takes just a minute, can help prevent harmful overloads on the brain and protect you from serious consequences that many only learn about when it is already too late. The eighth dangerous habit is neglecting gut health immediately after waking. Few realize how closely the gut and brain are connected. When the gut wakes to stagnation, constipation, or inflammation, it signals trouble to the nervous system, which can significantly affect the heart and blood vessels, raising blood pressure and disturbing heart rhythm. For older people, such signals can be serious harbingers of stroke. Overnight, the body clears toxins. The liver filters the blood, the kidneys remove excess fluid, and the intestines prepare to eliminate accumulated waste. If you wake to find that a regular bowel movement doesn't occur, and sometimes you forget about it for days, your body starts to reabsorb toxins, provoking inflammation in the digestive system. This hidden but persistent inflammation is a key risk factor for cardiovascular and cerebrovascular disease. New research in Frontiers in Neurology found that older adults with chronic constipation are 42% more likely to face ischemic stroke. Researchers also found that a simple daily habit, Stimulating the bowels in the first hours after waking significantly lowers this risk. It's enough to drink warm water right after getting up, eat a breakfast rich in fiber, for example, oatmeal, chia, or fruits with skin, and maintain a healthy bowel routine. If needed, natural probiotics may help, but they should be used under professional guidance. Returning morning rituals to a healthy rhythm is not just about comfort. It's protection and relief from internal tension. It is the most natural way to start the day with a clean, light body and harmoniously functioning organs. The ninth harmful habit is improper breathing in the morning. People often wake with shallow, irregular, or even rapid breathing, especially common in older adults. Few realize that such shallow breathing can hide a serious, often underestimated danger. It reduces the amount of oxygen reaching the lungs, disrupts blood supply to the brain, and forces the heart muscle to work harder to compensate for the imbalance. At night, the body shifts to energy-saving mode. Upon waking, the brain must instantly return to full function, which requires an uninterrupted supply of oxygen. A deficiency can raise blood pressure, impair heart function, and increase the risk of vascular complications. Research published in the American Journal of Respiratory and Critical Care Medicine found that older adults who experience shortened breathing patterns in the morning have a 35% higher risk of silent stroke, an event without immediate obvious symptoms that later manifests as cognitive and motor impairments. There is a simple, effective, and completely free solution. Upon waking, sit on the bed or in a comfortable chair, close your eyes, and take several deep breaths. Inhale to a count of 4, hold for a couple of seconds, and exhale slowly to a count of 6. Repeat this for 3 to 5 minutes. This practice stimulates the vagus nerve, normalizes heart rhythm, lowers stress hormones, and stabilizes blood pressure, creating favorable conditions to begin the day in balance. Proper breathing after waking is not just a pleasant habit. It is a real necessity, a small but important step that can prevent serious health problems. In older age, when every nuance matters, getting enough oxygen at the right time becomes one of the most effective ways to protect your brain. The danger of the 10th habit, sleeping with the wrong pillow and waking with a tight neck, is rarely discussed but quite significant. Sleep quality directly influences cerebral blood flow in the first hours after waking. In older adults, this factor can be decisive in whether the morning is calm or marred by a stroke. A poorly chosen pillow, too high, too low, or too soft, can cause the neck to tilt during sleep. Such a position compresses important cervical arteries, such as the vertebral and carotid arteries that supply the brain with oxygen. Prolonged compression lasting several hours can lead to transient ischemia, which in turn can cause morning headaches, dizziness when standing, and in severe cases, trigger stroke. New research published in the Journal of Stroke and Cerebrovascular Diseases found that older adults with improper neck posture during sleep have a 34% higher risk of morning ischemic events, especially dangerous for those with hypertension, cervical osteoarthritis, or atherosclerosis. To reduce risk, use a pillow that supports the neck in a natural position aligned with the spine. No excessive tilting up or down. For normal circulation, the head should be stable and blood flow between neck and brain unobstructed. Side sleepers should choose a pillow that matches shoulder height. Back sleepers should choose a lower pillow to avoid chin tilt. Waking with neck pain, stiffness, or head heaviness is not normal. It's a signal to make adjustments. Changing this detail alone may prevent strain on the main artery supplying the brain. In conclusion, we are wrapping up this important video. If you like the information you received, leave the phrase "My life is worth gold" in the comments. Rate this material from 0 to 10. Now that you know about the 10 harmful habits repeated daily by thousands of older people without thinking about the consequences, it is time to change your approach to life. Getting rid of these habits won't require great effort, financial costs, or medication, just awareness. Not caring about your heart, breathing, digestion, or blood pressure upon waking is like ignoring a ticking bomb. Stroke gives no warnings. It strikes suddenly and can deprive you of independence, speech, clear thought, or even life in seconds. But changing your morning routine is changing your body's fate. With simple actions, you can protect your brain, your heart, and your freedom. Age need not mark the beginning of the end. It can be the beginning of self-care. And it all starts in the morning. Take care of your body. It is your temple. And show yourself compassion. See you in the next video. And may God's blessing be with you. M.